the first evolutionary step of pure energy, from nothing to being, from waves to particles, from limitless to limited. Continuing from the previous video, in this video, we'll look at the first step in need creation in the causal relationship from nothing to being. It introduces the formation of particle nature that exists only in one place in the universal and ubiquitous wave nature and transforms and quantizes the surrounding space and time like the original sin of that existence. In his book Process and Reality, which was published in 1929, Whitehead's process philosophy centers on the idea that the world is composed of processes, rather than substances. He used the example of the atom and the electron to illustrate this point. According to Whitehead, the atom is not a fixed, static entity, but rather a dynamic process. The electron is not a tiny particle, but rather a process of energy. He argued that all entities, from subatomic particles to human beings, are constantly in a state of flux and change. In Whitehead's view, the world is not made up of discrete substances that interact with one another, but rather a complex web of interconnected processes. This means that everything is connected and interdependent, and that the actions of one entity can have far-reaching effects on others. Pneuma, pi nu epsilon mu alpha, monad, key, dark matter, superstring, etc. are the energy itself that can pursue change forever, and have the nature of forming relationships that can evolve. Quantum mechanics describes atoms and electrons in terms of energy fields that are constantly flowing and vibrating. In this view, the electron is not a particle that orbits around the nucleus like a miniature planet, but rather a wave-like entity that exists in a state of superposition, meaning that it is in multiple places and states at once. Electrons and other subatomic particles are not discrete, solid objects, but rather a collection of waves or energy fields. These energy fields are in a state of constant flux and vibration, which gives rise to the complex and unpredictable behavior of subatomic particles. In this way, quantum mechanics supports the idea of an eternally flowing and vibrating energy form that is the basis of all matter. The definition of energy is being not static or fixed, but dynamic and constantly changing itself, and it is the existence that makes it happen, as Heraclitus said. Therefore, the behavior of elementary particles cannot be predicted with certainty and, like human behavior, is studied by probability and uncertainty. Interaction of random energy waves. When several waves constructively interfere, the energy within the waves intensifies, producing waves with larger amplitudes. Constructive interference occurs when the peaks and troughs of two or more waves overlap in such a way that their amplitudes add together. The more relationships of waves there are, the more particle-like the energy form is localized in one area rather than the entire area, as in the previous single wave. Constructive interference is an important phenomenon in many areas of science, including acoustics, optics, and quantum mechanics. For example, constructive interference between two waves in a double-slit experiment in quantum mechanics can lead to the formation of an interference pattern that provides insight into the wave-like energy representation of elementary particles. When in chaos, the entropy, which is the measure of randomness, is high. Their one wave spreads throughout the universe, and it is a mixture of innumerable vibrational energies. Thus, no shape or properties are standing out to be recognized. It is the state of nothingness. At the beginning of Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, in the beginning, everything moves, creates, and develops the origin of things. However, this has no shape or name. When it comes to big, there is nothing bigger than this, and when it comes to small, there is nothing smaller. When random interactions, quantum entanglement, occur between waves, each one spread out to the ends of the universe, they can interact, interference, either constructively or destructively. As you have seen before, either way, the internal energy changes, so the wave changes to the other wave, because wave is energy. Therefore, different energy means different wave. More interactions of the waves are narrowing the realm of possibility of the main existence in the form of gravitational fields, electromagnetic fields, etc. The area where your energy fluctuates form a force field. If we think about the 2D we saw earlier by replacing it with 3-dimensional, the set of relationships between the waves can increase the probability of finding most of the energy in a narrower region, so observers will start to notice more particle-like behavior. For interaction/interference there should be interactions. Here are 4 fundamental forces that describe the interactions between particles in the universe: gravity, electromagnetic force, strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force. While the 2, strong and weak nuclear forces, are involved in the formation and behavior of nuclei, the other 2, gravity and electromagnetism, exist far out from their own high probabilities region. This allows for long-distance relationships. These forces are coming from the energy and can change the internal and external energy. The energy stored internally through the interaction and motions inside is called potential energy. And the energy that changes the movement and shape of the whole energy mass and its interaction with others is called kinetic, expressed energy. The Standard Model is a scientific theory that describes the behavior of particles and their interactions. It is a paradigm that has been developed over the past few decades and is currently the best explanation we have for the behavior of particles at the smallest scales. These particles are classified into 2 main groups: fermions and bosons. Fermions are the particles that make up matter, such as electrons, protons, and neutrons. It is an existence created by the overlapping of countless waves. They are divided into 2 types: quarks and leptons. Quarks are the building blocks of protons and neutrons, while leptons include electrons and neutrinos. Bosons are particles that mediate the fundamental forces, such as the photon, which mediates the electromagnetic force, and the W and Z bosons, which mediate the weak nuclear force. The Standard Model also predicts the existence of a particle called the Higgs boson, which is responsible for giving other particles mass. As discussed earlier, the primordial waves, which are ubiquitous in the universe when alone, affinity, an interaction network, have created a certain level of particles with different properties, personality. On the other hand, positive in math means increase in quantity and quality. Negative numbers mean a decrease. It is a sign of a relationship. Physics and chemistry create and use particles called light, electromagnetic force particles/waves, that fluctuate in positive and negative properties for interaction. Although this positive and negative is different from that of the East, the fact that the direction of the force felt around positively charged and negatively charged particles is opposite is similar to the direction of positive expansion and negative contraction in the Orient. The energy/force field acts as a condition and results in interaction with other property, positive, negative, etc., particles/waves. This form of attraction or repulsion coming from the interrelationship, which is the result of superposition of many quantum waves. The waves belong to the charged particles, which is resulted by many superposition of waves, and the charge interaction will end up a decrease in the wave nature and an increase in the particle nature. Then, due to their relationship with each other, the material will have the momentum, habit or memory, of a strong bond of lasting energy as an internal potential, so it will be a material that lasts longer with new and different synthesized forms. Thus, proton and electron in Whitehead's book are still behaving as wave and particle. Yet, they have their own personality, and their territories are strongly influenced by the interaction particles that has different lifetime and properties. Around the nucleus formed by many protons, space and energy become more structured and quantized. That means not everything is possible for smaller electrons around the nucleus. The universe is still mostly filled with hydrogen, the smallest element with one positive and one negative charge cohabiting. In the next video, we will continue to follow the evolution of hydrogen forming the relationship of life phenomena. Thank you.